After Fascinating Womanhood. All right, again, we'll go. Hi. Are you going out tonight to have drinks? Okay, well, listen. Just take it easy, and I'll see you when you come home, okay? Okay, honey, bye-bye. That's not exaggerating either. And I went to bed, and I put a little note on my my bedroom door, which was like, you Tarzan, me Jane, feel like swinging tonight.
If a woman will be the submissive partner with a willing attitude, if she will develop a spirit of sweet submission, that it will also help to develop her femininity. Fascinating Womanhood was first written in book form, and then later classes followed. Course material was developed, and the classes grew surprisingly all over the country, and now we have 400 Fascinating Womanhood classes across the nation.
The manner of the man is strong and heavy. The manner of a woman is gentle and light. The feminine manner with the hands is to remember that the side of the hand is the most appealing. And in gestures like giving to someone, you will have this movement. Will you do this with me? This movement. And then to bring the hand back, you give a gentle turn and reveal again the side of the hand.
Another thing I'd like to talk about is childlikeness, and I surely would like you to tell the class about it, Penny.
I was in the kitchen, and he was at the dining room table, and I had just, really spouted off at the kids, and my teapot was just really bubbling, but I wasn't really ugly angry, not yet. So as I walked through the dining room, he's sitting there, and I just, like that. And I walked by him, and I turned around, and I beat on his chest, and I said, "You brute!" I said, "You've been so mean to me, I just can't stand you." And he put his arms around me, and he laughed, and he smiled, and everything was just beautiful. The anger was gone.
In fact, girls, what happens if you've never tried childlikeness, after you experience this, you wish you had something more to complain about. You're really looking, oh, gee, I wish he'd do something wrong so I can use it, It's beautiful.
This happened 2 years ago at Christmas time. And so underneath the Christmas tree, 5 o'clock in the morning, underneath the Christmas tree is this great, big, huge brown, paper wrapping that you mail packages.
Yes.
And the paper mailing string around the top, and I'm kind of half asleep, and he's there with the movie camera taking the pictures, and I go over and I start to open it up, and I look inside, and I couldn't believe it. I looked over him, fur. And I opened a little bit more, and I picked this up, and it was a mink coat. I just hugged it and cried, and I just,
Ladies, believe me, after you start living Fascinating Womanhood, he'll do everything he can to give it to you. Remember, ladies, we hold in our hands the key to joy, the key to happiness. It's ours for the taking. All you have to do is reach for it.
Cinderella is a sterile myth, and Cinderella herself is sterile. Did you ever hear of Cinderella having children? I never saw a book in which we followed her after the golden slipper or the glass slipper fit. I never saw where she went with that cat, that prince she ran off with. Where'd she go? What'd they do? They lived happily ever after. Doing what? Just sat and stared at each other and admired that glass slipper and that little foot? What a life. That's what you call exciting, huh? I was one of the most successful orchestra leaders in America. I made, I don't know how many gold records, sold millions of records. Why did they never talk about that? Well, ask you a question, what do you know about Henry VIII? For example, did you know that he founded the British Navy? Did you know that he started the Anglican Church? Did you know they laid down a whole new body of law for England? He did many, many things. He was a great statesman. Henry was in a very powerful position, whether he did or didn't want to get rid of wives. But what you remember is his marriages. Very few people can run a nation. Very few people can have a successful band. But almost anybody can get married, and they get a sense of superiority to you. They've been married only once, and they think, you know, oh, he's been married a lot. They can identify with that. Most people say, I could do that if I wanted to, but I'm not stupid like he is. Generally speaking, in a marriage, the one thing you have is a continuous enforced proximity. Whatever there might be of any mystery about a woman for a man is eliminated. There she is. She's lying there beside him. If not ready and not willing, certainly able. And the result is that there's no more interest, generally speaking. I mean, I think if people were to feed you steak all day long every day, you would soon lose interest in steak. So why should sex be an exception? I think if we took a poll, an honest poll of honest people, almost everybody you know would admit that he doesn't quite know what he means by love. Or she, too. People get married in Hollywood very often to people they hardly know. They marry a public image, and that public image is marrying the other public image. And sooner or later, they have to take the masks off. And when they take the mask off, they generally go eek and run off into the nearest divorce lawyer's office. And people get married mostly out of a mild state of insanity. Lana Turner was very beautiful. And first time I ever saw her up close, I thought, wow, what else can you think? Well, what can you say? Or oh boy, or gee, or wow. What can you say about her? She was a beautiful girl. She was designed to get you to whistle or say, wow. I mean, everything, the lighting, the makeup, the clothing was all designed for one purpose. It was a sexually oriented object. Oh, Betty Kern followed her. Betty was a nice-looking girl. Everyone thought that was the marriage designed in heaven. It worked out as horrendously as any I've had. Oh, she was beautiful. Ava Gardner was about as beautiful a girl as I've ever known. She was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Not only my idea, everybody's idea who saw her. So it wasn't really very strange that I married her if she would accept the idea of being married. Would have been, see, people always amaze me when they ask me, why do you marry a girl like Ava Gardner? Well, if the average man were confronted by Sadie's secretary, ugly, fat, ungainly, and something as beautiful and ravishing as Ava Gardner was at the age of 19 or 20, you'd have to think he was a total lunatic to marry Sadie's secretary, wouldn't you? And yet, that might be the better wife. Kathleen Winsor. I could get us knocked off the air with a one-word description of Kathleen Winsor, so I won't do it. Doris Darling was also, she was a looker, as they say. She was an actress, movie actress, and she was, again, very handsome, very good-looking girl. Still is. Evelyn Keyes, I'm still married. The judge says we're still married. The paper says we're still married. We're still trying to figure out whether we are. I went through a lot of shrinking. I spent 6 years in shrinking parlors, and I got rid of a lot of dreams. There's a marvelous book, by the way, by Robert Heinlein called Stranger in a Strange Land, in which they talk about this man from Mars, and he kisses a girl, and she almost swoons, and they say, what does he do? And the woman says, well, he doesn't kiss like anyone else. When he kisses you, he is only thinking of you. He is thinking of nothing else. Well, that says it, doesn't it? The point with me is that I didn't think of anyone. I just called a cab and got out. I think we have to find a new way for men and women to live together. And if they do, then the wedding license becomes irrelevant, becomes rather not important one way or the other. Marriage as it used to be, as a Victorian institution, certainly is finished. I think anybody who's given any really serious thought to that would agree with this. If you want a good divorce, come see me. I'll tell you how to make the perfect marriage for that purpose. Every divorce I've ever had has been absolutely ideal because I've never regretted the divorce. I mean, I'm not a good marriage expert, but I'm a great expert on divorce. I've had the most successful divorces you've ever known.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Wow, man, I'll have to ask you not to shout like that.
Well,
It's like right in my ear, man.
well, it goes with the song.
Yeah, but don't holler in my ear,
Well,
man.
it's authentic calypso.
Yeah, but like when I
shout.
stand next to me, man.
Well, the shout go with the bongo drum.
Well, not my bongo drums, man. I mean, move away.
Well,
man.
I don't see why.
No. Stand
well,
over next to the guitar, man.
He sent me over here.
Yeah? Well, then sing soft, man. You know, I mean, like, wow.
Okay.
It's too loud, man. That's better.
He's a day, 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 oh. Daylight come and me want go home.
Yeah, man.
Who work all night and a drink of rum. Daylight come and we want go home. Stock banana till the morning come. Daylight come and we want go home. Live 6 foot, 7
man.
foot, 8
Hold it,
foot
man.
punch. Daylight
Too loud, man. Too loud.
6 foot, 7
Hold it,
foot,
man.
8
Hold it,
foot
man.
punch. Daylight
My ears, like my ears. No, hold it, man. It's too shrill, man. It's too piercing.
Oh, well, I don't see why.
No, it's too piercing,
Can't,
man. It's too piercing.
Well, I got to do the shout.
No, man, it's too piercing. Like I don't dig loud noises.
Well, you ruined the whole
Piercing.
record is what you do.
Yeah, well, tough. I'll take my bongos and go, man, because the whole thing is like bugging me anyhow.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I won't
No,
shout.
I'm cutting, man,
no.
like I didn't want to make this gig in the first place.
No, wait a minute. I'll be soft.
Yeah? Well, then back off from me, man. It's too piercing.
Okay? How's this?
Too loud, man.
Okay.
Too loud, man. I can still hear you. Would you mind leaving the room?
Okay.
Crazy.
Daylight come and me want go home. Daylight come and me want go home. A beautiful bunch of bright banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight
Oh, man,
come.
don't sing about spiders. I mean, ooh,
Well-
like I don't dig spiders.
Well, that's how the song goes. He goes, hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me want go home.
Is that it? Can I leave now?
Oh, not yet. We got a big finish.
Yeah, man.
I locked myself out.
Crazy. I come through the window. Daylight come and me won't go home. Wow.
Good evening. Our topic for tonight's discussion is the free world economy. Where is it going? The guests on our panel are Dr. James Pendleton, chairman of the Atlantic Monetary Foundation, Henry Gladstone, professor of economics at Frick University, Stuart Felton, editor of the World Banking Quarterly, and Dr. Robert Chambers, president of the Norstad Council for Economic Development. Gentlemen, welcome. My first question, and perhaps we could hear from Dr. Chambers on this, is where does the free world economy stand at this time?
Of course, this is always a very difficult thing to ascertain, but I think I could say with some surety that the current situation is in transition. Interest rates have shown some movement away from the trends established in the last quarter. Gold and silver markets, although rarely seen as indicative of the long-range picture, have shown energetic movement causing no small amount of speculation. And readjustment can be seen coming from, at this point, gross product in industrial markets, scale markets, and the ever-shifting labor situation, of course.
One must add that the world trade market is oftentimes a very strong indicator of a 30-day trend, and one can see in this case, a perceptible movement towards a new overall level. Now, labor statistics and other barometers of the various multiple trade agreements have their effects and have never before shown such a very picture. Now, the Atlantic Treaty Council...
Jim, forgive me for interrupting you, but I think we're forgetting a very important point here. Yes, I'll have a cheese. Thank you. We discovered at the International Monetary Conference in London last March that the basic fiscal level of the gold market fluctuates almost from 2% up to 5%. And this is despite the fact that there's an interaction between supply and demand.
Well, that's very true, Doctor, but as you pointed out in your book last year...
No, thanks. I have one here. The factor of the Atlantic community, together with, of course, the impact of the common market, has resulted in this unprecedented phase, which it may or may not be susceptible to Keynesian interpretation.
I agree, and I think it is susceptible to Keynesian interpretation.
Well, I believe then we would agree that this is in flux at this time, wouldn't we, Doctor?
By flux, if you mean change, yes. May I please have that plate?
Yes.
We'll have another of those sandwiches here. Did you want another tuna sandwich?
No, thanks. Well, I think you're very right. Yes, I do.
I'll take your cup. Your cup is empty?
No.
Would you like some more sugar on that?
The point is, I think we have to take into consideration the world trade situation.
You want to know what I mean?
Well, I believe the change is
that
only...
could be.
Can a girl from no state of Mississippi come to the big community? But it is people from Mississippi. It's like a silver.
Many people sleep nude, but it's wise to teach children from the youngest age not to enter their parents' bedroom without knocking and receiving permission. A bedroom door with a lock is essential for all parents.
This is my husband, Curtis Keller. How do you do, Mr. Fisher? I love your tie. I think that's the cutest.
An agreeable husband gets up in the morning in time to go to work without putting the house in an uproar. Breadsticks may be broken and buttered lengthwise or on one end.
Mrs. Erdogan, yes. Mrs. Phoebe, and Dr. Phoebe. My husband, Curtis.
At bedtime, an agreeable wife wears feminine nightgowns which are more inviting than utilitarian pajamas. What do I see? Well, I see I think a fairly intelligent and alert face. Not very young, but as I said, I wouldn't want to go back to the time when I was 20, because then I'd have all the sorrow and the agonies that I went through. I wouldn't change anything. I'm glad that I'm in as good shape as I am, but I've worked for it. I've worked physically to keep my muscles in good repair, as you know. And I live well, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I try to eat a balanced diet.
You by yourself, no time. Breathe and just relax. Excellent.
I should tell you that I really considered myself a very homely little child. I used to be called Pumpkinhead, and I was ridiculed. I never thought of myself as glamorous. And when I was 45, I went on a cruise, and I danced with an Italian sea captain. And when the rumba music started, I said, I have to sit down. I don't understand this music at all. Besides, I'm not a very good dancer. He said, you could become a good dancer, and you can do it. And just have a few lessons, and I'm sure you'll be all right. Well, I then became really, if I do say so myself, a fairly expert Latin dancer. You're never too old to become young. If it means something, if it's something you want to do, why not? Did I think I was going to learn to stand on my head at this stage? No. Oh, I'm lucky for being me. Of course I am. I had no neurotic reason for having facial surgery. And my husband said I didn't have to do it for him, and I knew that. I had cosmetic surgery, erased as much as possible the uglier aspects of aging. It's just that, to me, it's something like painting my house when my house needs painting. Well, a garden is like a woman in that it's always growing and changing. It's sometimes beautiful and sometimes fading. To be eternally young is not my ambition, because it would not be realistic. I know that we all must grow old. I just want to grow old in good condition. The fight against growing old, of course, will be lost because we all have to die. It might be nice to die looking as good as we can.
You think she was Lady Vanderbilt? And you know, if you were Lady Vanderbilt, you were a lady of leisure with plenty of money.
How old do you think I am? How old do you think I am? 50?
No.
Would you like to look younger than you look?
No, I'd just like to be myself.
I'd like to propose a toast. Here's to the ladies who lunch. Everybody laugh. Lounging in their caftans and planning a brunch on their own behalf. Off to the gym, then to a fitting, claiming they're fat and looking grim, 'cause they've been sitting, choosing a hat. Does anyone still wear a hat? I'll drink to that. Here's to the girls who stay smart. Aren't they a gas? Rushing to their classes in optical art, wishing it would pass. Another long, exhausting day, another $1,000. A matinee, a Pinter play, perhaps a piece of Mahler's. I'll drink to that. And one for Mahler. Here's to the girls who play wife. Aren't they too much? Keeping house but clutching a copy of life just to keep in touch. The ones who follow the rules and meet themselves at the schools, too busy to know that they're fools. Aren't they a jam? I'll drink to them. Let's all drink to them. And here's to the girls who just watch. Aren't they the best? When they get depressed, it's a bottle of scotch, plus a little jest. Another chance to disapprove, another brilliant singer, another reason not to move, another vodka stinger. I'll drink to that. So here's to the girls on the go. Everybody tries. Look into their eyes and you'll see what they know. Everybody dies. A toast to that invincible bunch. The dinosaurs surviving the crunch. Let's hear it for the ladies who lunch every